who is non-biased in the elections, not vote and officiate this ballot?
It's a suggestion. It's not one I like. I'm not allowed to vote in this, so I would be okay. I would also accept if somebody from both sides of the vote, in favor and opposed, would both like to cancel each other out and act as scrutineers. Can I have 2 volunteers? You know what? At some point, you just have to trust people are going to be honest. And we need to get through this because we're still amending the agenda. So I would appreciate a volunteer who I could recognize as being on each side of the debate, getting up, 2 people, so you balance each other out, and coming up here and scrutineering with me. Jen, if you're still here, could I ask you to figure out the paper thing right now? Actually, you know what, can I ask the mover to be the person to scrutineer on the for side, and is there somebody on the against side who'd like to scrutineer? Can I have a volunteer? It's totally irrelevant because we've got somebody who's... No. There's somebody who would elsewise vote in favor who will not be voting because he will be scrutineering. Can I have somebody on the other side? Is that okay? Would that be acceptable to you? Jane? Actually, okay. Is that okay? You guys are okay with that? All right. We're getting ballots. We're doing our best. You two have your Dow card ready to get a ballot. Also, while we are doing this, I would ask you that you would all sit down. Everyone. Is that okay? Brad, I would love to do it on the Having the President's Report. Somebody informally raised a point of order to me in that we can't go forward with the agenda without approving the agenda. Which is well-founded, unfortunately. So, people are still standing.
It is 10:09. We're not even... John Hillman... We haven't even approved the agenda. John Hillman is videotaping everything I'm saying.
That makes sense. Sorry guys, can I seriously ask that we just all sit down for a minute?
Okay.
Please?
I'll call you later, okay?
Also on the right, you guys mind sitting down? Oh, your security, you're not going to be getting... Okay. Is there anybody else who is not security that's still standing? Okay. For the remainder of this discussion, if you get up, you may not vote. There is no other way for us to keep track of this. Does that make sense to any of you?
What about people coming in?
If people are coming in,
make them stand by the door.
Then they can't come in. How about that? Do you guys mind manning the doors and not letting people in until we've handed out the ballots and then giving the ballots to the people who wish to come in at the end? Does that make sense? Is it okay if we just, get them during handing out ballots, and when they all come to the door together, once we've handed the rest out, we'll give them ballots as well? Does that make sense? Okay. So, again, I ask you all to be each other's scrutineers on this point, and if anybody gets up, please point it out, that person will not be allowed to vote in this vote. We just need to get through this, and I know it's a bit draconian, but it needs to be functional. Ballots have gone out, so we can count how many ballots come in. This is simply to add it to the agenda. There will be a vote on the motion if it's added to the agenda. For clarity's sake, as this is an amendment to the agenda at the time of the meeting, it requires a 2/3 majority. 2/3 majority, again for your edification, because I realize not everybody counts this. If you vote in favor, you're part of the number of counts. If you vote against, you're the number of counts. If you abstain, you don't count against what's required for 2/3 majority. Is that unclear to anybody? So if there are 100 people that vote and 10 that abstain, you need a 66% in favor to add it to the agenda. Is anybody unclear about that?
Can you...
Yes.
Just to be clear, yes or no are the only acceptable...
Yes. We already marked who was abstaining.
Okay.
They have not been given a ballot if they are abstaining.
Yes or no, or why, can you clarify what
Okay, I think, and my scrutineers can cancel me on this because they're the ones who have to watch this. As long as your intent is clear, we'd probably accept it. That being said, it's going to save time again for us if you just write yes or no. And it makes sense. I mean, again, trying to get through this. Is anybody unclear? Jane? Yes, you can.
Hey again, and I just received a phone call from someone outside of the room who was barred from entering. That people who were not inside the room were called, and this ballot process is being used as a stalling tactic. I believe it's unconstitutional for a vote to be taken and then more people to enter the room and have the vote pass. I don't think that's constitutional.
We had somebody rise on that point in the back corner, and my interpretation was, well, I would encourage people who are unaware of what's going on to perhaps not vote because you don't know what's going on. It would be beyond my power to exclude students from voting.
Even after a vote's already been taken? The vote's already been taken.
Sorry, the words is, well, sorry, going back to the provision, the request to have a paper ballot stands in lieu of the original vote, so it's not the original vote, it's a new vote. Does that make sense? So, what it says, and again, my job is to try to interpret, is that during the vote, any member may demand an alternate vote provided the request is made immediately after the result is announced. Next point, such demand does not require a second, that's not grammatically correct, a seconded. And then next point, such a demand invalidates the previous results. And then next point, such a demand must be acted on by the chair of council unless withdrawn by by the member that called it. So, does that make sense? Okay, we've distributed the ballots. We're going to go around and collect them. If there are more ballots out there, then we hand it out. We're going to have to go through this whole process again. Sorry, I'm just going to deal with this first and then that.
Just because we tried to do our best on this, but we both willing to accept that we might have erred on the side of one or two. So if there's one or two extra ballots, we're both of us have agreed that we accept that.
Margin of error, maximum 1 or 2. I don't think there should be any error. But the scrutineers are up here, so again, it's not at my discretion. Sorry, I don't think that when we bring the ballots back in, there should be any error, because frankly, I think you should be democratic about it, including the voting process. All the same, we now need to collect the ballots. If you vote yes, if you write yes on your ballot, you are saying that this motion should be on the agenda. If you write no on your ballot, if NO goes on your ballot, you're saying this motion should not be on the agenda. Is anybody unclear about that? Seeing no lack of clarity, please write and we will go around and collect. Unfortunately, despite the 1 to 2 slip margin that our scrutineers allowed for, we have an 8-vote margin between how many ballots we handed out and how many have come in. There were 8 extra. We wouldn't be telling you this if it didn't make a difference to the 2/3 majority. How exciting is that? Which means that you get to all take your seats again, and we get to try again! Yes.
What is the result of the vote? We have voted. We vote. What is the result of the vote?
The problem is, and this is my problem with it, there are more ballots than there are people, which suggests to me that we didn't vote, we plus a number of people voted, which suggests to me that whatever we plus extra people voted shouldn't be valid because there are more ballots than there are people. It doesn't. It suggests to me that a valid democratic result wouldn't come of it. Does that make sense? If somebody stuffed ballot boxes when you ask for it, and being unaware of the outcome, I'm saying this because I don't believe a democratic result would come.
Yeah, but what is it anyways?
I apologize to everybody here. We will try again. Is there a question?
Right here.
I'm going to go this way first.
I have a suggestion.
Sure.
Because you're going to do this again, and it's going to get screwed up again. If we got into a line and you made a ballot, there's time for people to stuff a box. You never have a ballot? Just put us in a line.
Yeah, okay, let's do division. We're going to do this really quickly with my 2 scrutineers instead of doing paper ballots. Everybody wants to vote, go over there right now.